We really got to talk about this situation right now because Anthony Edwards is getting dragged all across social media again, with fans going in on him for looking like he completely checked out of Game 6 against the San Antonio Spurs, while there were still around 8 minutes sitting on the clock, even though the team was staring at a brutal 30-point hole. Now, listen to this, because in the NBA, 8 whole minutes is forever, and crazy momentum swings can happen before you even realize it, right? So hold up. Even if the coach empties the bench and basically signals surrender, you are still talking about a full 8 minutes of basketball left to play. You would think the second unit could suddenly catch fire or spark some wild comeback energy, but girl, when you are viewed as the clear-cut face and leader of the franchise, throwing in the towel that early during the fourth quarter is a horrible look. Obviously, you handle the sportsmanship stuff and do all the post-game handshakes once the clock officially hits 0, but making a move like that with that much time remaining has the internet in a frenzy, and a lot of fans are seriously upset with how Anthony Edwards carried himself. Personally, I think there were way smarter ways he could have handled those final moments of that elimination disaster. But you won't believe this because we're about to get into how Ryan Clark publicly called him out for it, and after that, I'm giving my full breakdown on why this whole locker room situation feels worse than people want to admit. Go ahead and roll the footage.
I love Ant, but what he did last night, that ain't the move. That ain't the fighter. That ain't the dog. That ain't the competitor. You don't walk over to another team's huddle with 8 minutes left in the game, down 30 plus, and hug everybody and congratulate him. And I get it, like he's an absolute superstar. Puts the ball in the bucket. He's charismatic. He's fun. He's magnetic. But that don't win you championships. Think about the other greats. Isaiah Thomas, when he was swept by Michael Jordan, that was a passing of the torch moment. They could have hugged and they could have said, hey man, best of luck. Them dudes walked out before the game was over and walked right past Mike. Now, I get it. It's about sportsmanship. And even Mike said he would have wished they could have shaken hands or whatever it was. But sportsmanship and surrender are two different things. Kobe Bryant, one of my favorite moments of his is when they lost to Detroit 4-1 in the finals. And late in that game, in the fourth quarter, Kobe Bryant is picking up full court, right? Full court on defense. He know he can't win. He know they're not coming back in this series, but he knew eventually he was going to be the leader of that team. And how are people going to look at him? How are people going to feel about the way that he competed, the way that he fought, the way that he continued to say that I'm going to do everything I can possibly do to show this team I will not quit? And quit. And the coach had quit by that point, but it was Luka first. It was Shea next. And now it's Wemby. How many of Anthony Edwards' peers are going to send him home before either he does something different or the Timberwolves have to do something different? Like, we know he's an absolute star. But what we saw last night, that ain't it. Wemby wouldn't have walked over there because Wemby ain't got no friends. At some point, I ain't gonna have to go out there and say I ain't got no friends either. It ain't just about dunking on you. It ain't just about scoring on you. It's about killing you, killing your spirit. It's about sending you home. Those are the dudes that become legends. The rest of them, they just get real rich.
Some of the things I like, I saw I didn't like. And what I will say is, as great as Ant is as a basketball player, there's still some growth for him as well. Because as a leader, I would not have walked down there and shook their hand. I would not have walked down there and shook their hand with 8 minutes left in the game. As a leader of my troops and my guys, I would not show that weakness. The game is not over. I got 8 minutes left. I still got smoke coming out of my ears because I'm so damn mad we losing. Let me calm down for those 8 minutes since I'm not in, and then after those 8 minutes, I'll go down there and I'll congratulate them and their coaching staff. But in the middle of the game, when I got guys that have sat the bench and cheered me on, no, I'm gonna sit there and cheer those guys on. I'm gonna put that energy back into those guys, and then when the game's over, I'll go over there and shake their hands. So that's just the way I handle things.
That is exactly the kind of championship mentality Udonis Haslem and Ryan Clark are talking about right there. Now hold up, because setting that aggressive tone matters big time when you're trying to build momentum for future seasons. When Kobe Bryant used to pressure guys full court even during ugly blowouts, he was sending a loud message that his team was going to compete hard until the very last second on the clock. Listen to this, because that is the exact type of elite mentality and leadership standard you carry into the next year. You're building a culture where accountability is everything, where you challenge teammates face to face, and where you push everybody beyond their comfort zone because you're out there sacrificing your own body first. If you're laying it all on the line like that, then your teammates better bring that same intensity too, or things are absolutely going to explode behind closed doors in that locker room. Girl, you simply cannot survive in an organization with championship expectations if you're not willing to battle. And that right there is the exact competitive fire that a lot of fans felt was missing from Ant-Man during that ugly elimination loss. Now, Anthony Edwards has been dealing with a bone bruise, and some people in the media are saying he already pushed his body to the limit just by suiting up in the first place. But let's be honest, once you bounce back and knock off the Denver Nuggets in the first round, nobody is trying to hear excuses once things start falling apart afterward. The truth is that Minnesota ended up running into a way more physical, lengthy, and athletic squad led by tough defenders like Keldon Johnson, making life difficult on every possession. Sure, he still had a couple of explosive scoring performances here and there, but you could clearly tell his ability to attack the rim did not look the same, and that trademark bounce just wasn't fully there. So even though the injury limitations were obvious to basically everybody watching the game, you still never mentally check out, because we've all seen modern NBA teams erase massive deficits in almost no time. It is absolutely possible to make things uncomfortable with 8 minutes left by ripping off a quick 20-0 run and suddenly cutting the lead down to single digits. You won't believe this, but the last thing you ever want to do as the supposed face of the franchise is wave the white flag early in front of a locker room full of professional athletes. Now, the real question becomes whether this front office needs to hit the market aggressively and bring in more elite-level talent to strengthen this roster. I honestly thought Minnesota had pieced together some really strong talent throughout the regular season, but Julius Randle completely disappeared in this series, and girl, it started making a whole lot more sense why the New York Knicks were ready to move on from that contract situation. Meanwhile, Karl Anthony Towns is out in New York playing some of the most complete basketball of his entire career, now that Jalen Brunson is controlling the offense and creating easier opportunities for everybody. Honestly, I'm loving the chemistry and balance they've built with that Knicks roster right now. But listen to this, because Julius Randle simply cannot survive as the true number 2 option if your goal is winning a championship. A lot of people believe Jaden McDaniels was finally taking that next leap into a bigger offensive role, but he completely stalled out once San Antonio's defense started tightening the pressure. And you want to know what the real problem underneath all of this actually was? I truly think Victor Wembanyama changed Minnesota's entire offensive identity just with his terrifying presence protecting the paint, y'all. You have to burn so much energy and rack up hard fouls trying to slow him down around the basket. It turns every possession into a stressful chess match because you constantly have to know exactly where he is standing on the court at all times. Trying to defend a once-in-a-generation player like that destroys your normal instincts of simply tracking the ball and sticking with your assignment. You know, Wemby literally bends the entire defensive structure the second he steps on the floor. And San Antonio surrounded him with physical dogs like Keldon Johnson. So if you collapse too hard trying to stop Wembanyama, those other guys are crashing the glass and punishing you for easy putbacks all night long. Now listen to this, because Stephen Castle has turned into an absolute nightmare matchup for opposing defenses. Anytime Castle gets rolling and starts knocking down perimeter shots as he did late in Game 6, you suddenly get trapped choosing between protecting the lob to Wemby or staying attached to contest his jumper. You barely get any reaction time because Castle is explosive off the dribble, attacking the paint hard, finishing through contact, and completely collapsing defensive coverages. And don't even get me started on how Dylan Harper fits into this entire situation. Look, I'm just gonna say what a lot of people are scared to admit right now. The media spent the whole season pushing VJ Edgecombe and Cooper Flagg ahead of Harper in those rankings, but neither one of them was truly separating themselves from him talent-wise. Hold up, because the only reason Harper did not put up those same insane stat lines is that he did not have the same usage opportunity playing in San Antonio behind De'Aaron Fox on a roster expected to compete immediately. But pure ability-wise, he belongs right in that same elite tier with them. You won't believe this, but while most analysts keep talking about Cooper like he is the automatic franchise-changing savior over everybody else, I'm gonna keep it completely real with y'all. If I were drafting strictly based on film study and breaking down Harper's overall package, his ambidextrous finishing at 6'6", and the versatility he brings across the board, I would have seriously considered taking him first overall without thinking twice. Girl, we are literally watching a future superstar grow right in front of us. The smoothness Dylan Harper shows navigating traffic, mixed with the way he elevated during the postseason, completely backs up my belief that the playoffs were always going to be the stage where casual fans finally realize how special he really is. No, he probably will not have the narrative or raw numbers to steal Rookie of the Year, but I always believed his long-term ceiling was right there with the very best players from his class. As a talent evaluator, you have to be able to see beyond basic box score production. It's the same reason I knew Jalen Brunson was destined to become a star back when he was still stuck playing behind other names in Dallas. You cannot just stare at points per game and call it scouting. You have to study the situation around the player, understand the tools they possess, and project how their skill set expands in a larger offensive role. And that is exactly how I evaluate elite basketball talent in today's league. But getting back to the main controversy, did Anthony Edwards completely cross the line by walking off early? I know this debate has completely taken over the sports world, and honestly, I wasn't even planning to speak on it until Ryan Clark jumped into the discussion and made me want to give my own raw perspective on the entire situation. Let me know how y'all honestly feel about all of this down in the comments section below. Is the media blowing this way out of proportion, or is this moment seriously going to hurt his image as a franchise leader moving forward? Drop your opinions below, hit that like button, share the video around, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, peace out everybody.